Okay, hey guys, so to continue where we left off, sorry about the short, abrupt ending of the last one, we are going to take everything we learned about the atom in regards to finding the number of protons, the number of electrons, and the number of neutrons, and be able to now draw what we call a Bohr diagram, which is just a model of our atom. We should be able to do that with any of the first 20 elements on our periodic table. We should also at the end be able to identify what a valence electron is or are, and you should be able to explain the importance of valence electrons to reactivity of an element. Okay, so Bohr diagrams, what they are is they're basically just a drawing of what an atom of an element would look like. So they need to include the following. You need to include a nucleus, which includes your protons and neutrons and how many there are of each. And then we also need to draw our electrons that orbit around at energy levels. And the big thing we need to know and focus is we can only ever have 2 electrons in our first energy level. Once that first energy level is full, you always have to fill it up first. Then we go to our second energy level. It can have a max of 8 electrons, and then we jump into our third energy level, which will have a max of 8 electrons, and you will not in Science 9 see anything higher than 3 energy levels in regards to maxing them out. Okay, so what that actually looks like, you will notice on the screen over here. Okay, you have your nucleus of magnesium on the drawing. Keep flipping. And so this is your nucleus right here. So this is magnesium. It is always your core, your center of your atom. You will notice it says 12 protons and 12 neutrons. Reminder, we find our protons by finding the atomic number and neutrons by taking the atomic mass rounded minus the atomic number, and that's where we get from magnesium. Okay, you will notice in our first energy level, which is your little circle around the nucleus here, you have 2 electrons right there that are maxed out. Then, because we have more than just 2 electrons, they went and filled in our second energy level, which has 8, and then they jumped into our third energy level. So, to know how to draw these, the best way to go about it is to honestly just practice them. Okay, so we are going to look at nitrogen. Okay, so if we find nitrogen on our periodic table, it has an atomic mass of 14.01 in that top right-hand corner, and the atomic number is 7. So if we are looking for the number of protons, I am looking for the atomic number, so that should be 7. My number of electrons also is told to me by my atomic number, which is 7, and then my number of neutrons, which is equal to my mass minus my atomic number. So my atomic mass rounded is 14 minus 7, and my number of neutrons is 7. Okay, so what this looks like for drawing your Bohr diagram. So we are going to draw your nucleus first, and inside it are my protons and my neutrons. So I am going to put 7 protons inside my nucleus and 7 neutrons inside my nucleus. And these circles are going to get a little wonky, I imagine, with this thing. Okay. Hey, man, back up. So there's our nucleus. So I have accounted for my protons and my neutrons. Now I have to look at my electrons. So I have my electrons orbiting around an energy level. So I need an energy level. So there is my first energy level. As beautiful as that is. And I am going to now put my electrons on it. Let's make them a little bit more noticeable. So I can have 2 electrons in my first energy level. So there's 1, there's 2. in the first energy level, they always pair up right off the bat, and then we go on to our second energy level. And I know I need a second energy level because I have 7 total, so I have not actually accounted for all of them yet. Okay, so second energy level is going to look even prettier, I can imagine. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So let's handle all the rest of our electrons. So I have 2 here, which means I basically now only have 5 left. So when I first put them in my second energy level, I'm just going to put 1, and then I'm going to basically go around like a clock, and even or like cards, and I'm going to deal them out 1 to each side first. So I need 5 total in this energy level. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. After all 4 are in each side, then I can start pairing them up. So there is my 5th last electron. So let's double check and count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrons. So there is my Bohr diagram for nitrogen. Okay, so let's do another one. All right, so we are going to do chlorine for this next guy. So if I find chlorine on my periodic table, I should find that it has atomic number of 17, and that 17 tells me my number of protons. It also tells me my number of electrons, and then my neutrons is my mass minus my atomic number. So that in this case, chlorine, the mass is 35.45, last time I checked, yep. All right, 35.45 minus 17. Now remember, I have to round this atomic mass. 35.45 does not round up, it stays as 35. So 35 minus 17, and I should get 18 neutrons. Okay, now let's draw our Bohr diagram. So inside our nucleus goes 17 protons and 18 neutrons. There we go. Then I need my first energy level. All right. Now let's put our protons in, or electrons, sorry. So I know I need 17 electrons. So I'm going to put, I know I'm going to use my first energy level. So there's my 1, there's my 2, which means now I need a second energy level. Oh, this guy's a little different color. Oh well. Right. Second energy level. And my electrons, so I have 2, so that means 3. 4 gets dealt out to this side. 5, 6. Now I start pairing up. 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have 10 electrons total, but I need 17. So I actually have to keep going, which means I go to my next energy level. Okay. So third energy level, and this one can have a max of 8 as well. Okay. And I am going to get, so now I have 10, which means I have 7 left. So 11, 12, 13, 14, start pairing up now that they're all got on one side. 15, 16, 17. All right, so that is my Bohr diagram for chlorine. Now, I mentioned that we would learn what valence electrons are. So obviously these are the total amount of electrons, but valence electrons are actually just talking about our last energy level right here, and the amount of electrons that are in this case. Chlorine actually has 7 valence electrons. Okay, and this deals with reactivity in regards to, you will notice if you find chlorine on your periodic table that chlorine is in group 17, which are your halogen gases. Now, if you remember from your periodic table notes, we learned that your halogen gases are highly reactive. And the reason that is because of the fact that if you look at their last energy level, they have 7 valence electrons in them, and that is the case for all group 17 elements. They only are one short, this guy right here. Because there's 7, there's only one electron that is not paired up, which means it really does want to have this electron right here, which means it's extremely reactive. So now you should be good with Bohr diagrams. If you have any questions, remember to make a post in your comment section of Google Classroom, or ask your teacher when you do your next Zoom meet. And that is it. That's all.